Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So if this is your first time on this channel, welcome. I'm so happy you found me. Okay, so today I'm going to be showing you guys my fondant recipe. Okay, if this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. It's you guys that keep me in business. Thank you so much. Okay, so one of the questions I've gotten like most recently and too often is about how to make fondants that is pliable and usable and really great regardless of what country you're in, depending on temperature and climate conditions and stuff, that will work for you. Like regardless of where you are, what kind of fondant will work for you. So it took me a while to put this together, and like if you remember, several of you kept asking me and I was saying, okay, next week. It's finally next week, so I'm going to be showing you guys this fondant, and I took a lot of time to put together. I think this was my 7th time I was making it. Yeah, I did some kind of troubleshooting like 6 times, and then the 6 times, this was the 6th time. Yeah, 5 times, and then the 6th one was something I felt I could work with and works perfectly, and you can switch it to your taste, to your liking, depending on what country you're in and how much humidity is there. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. Okay, so for this fondant recipe, we're going to be needing gelatin, and it doesn't need marshmallows. Yes, because my fondant recipe that I'm used to using, I use marshmallows. So this one, you don't need marshmallows. You need regular fondant ingredients, which will be 1 tablespoon of gelatin, and then to that you're going to be adding 1/4 of a cup of water, and then you're going to leave it to bloom. You know how to, gelatin now, just leave for like 10 minutes and then it will bloom properly before you warm it up. Okay, so today we're going to be using glycerin. I actually bought glycerin for the purpose of this video. I normally don't use glycerin. I'd rather use butter. Glycerin is just like oil, just plain oil, flavorless and colorless and stuff. So but butter has some flavor and a little color and some liquid in it, so it makes your fondant a little softer. So I kind of prefer butter because it's available and it's always there. Or you can use margarine if you are vegan. Okay, so today we're going to be needing some glucose, and that's going to be 1/2 cup of glucose. So into your powdered sugar, which will be 900 grams of powdered sugar. So but to that, first you're going to divide your powdered sugar into 2. So in the bowl you're going to have 450 grams. In this bowl right now I have 450 grams of powdered sugar, and then I'm going to be adding 1/2 cup of glucose to it. And then to that I'm going to take my gelatin that already bloomed, pop it in the microwave for a few seconds, maybe like 10 seconds, and then I'm also going to add it to this 450 grams. And then also to that we're going to be adding our glucose, which is 1/2 cup of glucose, don't forget. Okay, so for the purpose of this video I'm going to be using glycerin, and to that you're going to be needing 2 tablespoons of glycerin. Yes, if you're normally I'd use margarine or butter, and if I'm going to be using 3 tablespoons. So if you don't have glycerin, that's okay, you can use butter or margarine. So into our bowl, the same bowl where there is 450 grams of icing sugar, we are going to like melt our gelatin mixture that already bloomed, because you want it to bloom properly, because that way when you pop in the microwave it will soften and you won't have those tiny lumps in your fondant. I think when I did my second take I had tiny lumps of gelatin because I didn't bloom it properly. So you want to make sure it blooms properly. So once you melt it in the microwave for a few seconds, maybe 10 to 30, I think around that, and then you're going to pour it into your bowl of 450 grams, and then you are going to stir. So you want to stir it until it comes together. And then remember, we divided our icing sugar into 2 different parts, 2 equal parts. So the remaining 450 you're going to be adding it in tiny bits. So you're going to add it and stir until it gets to a consistency where you can pour it on top of your mat and then knead. But we're not there yet, so we're going to add a little bit more. Okay, so let's go over our ingredients again. You're going to be needing 900 grams of icing sugar, 2 tablespoons of glycerin, 1/2 cup of glucose, 1/4 cup of water, 1 tablespoon of gelatin. Yes, so you're going to mix it in the manner that I'm mixing it right now. So let me type it for you guys. Check your screen right now. You're going to see where I wrote the ingredients. I hope it's not too tiny for you guys to see. Okay, so that's the base ingredients you're going to be using. And so when it gets to this consistency where it's too thick to be stirred in a bowl with your spatula, and it is too too thick kind of, so you're going to take it and pour some of your powdered sugar on top of your mat, your silicone mat, and then you're going to scrape down. Yeah, it's thick. Something you should do, don't mind me, what you should do before now is to rub some butter or some oil or some glycerin on inside your bowl before pouring your icing sugar into it. That way it won't stick as much and you won't have to be using all of your energy to scrape it like I did. Okay, now it is time to knead. So we are going to knead the remaining powdered sugar into this fondant. If you notice what I'm doing, I'm just turning the fondant over on itself in the midst of the icing sugar. I don't know if my English is making sense to you guys. Okay, but that's what I'm doing. I'm basically just trying to knead the remaining icing sugar into it. So one thing I want you guys to notice with this recipe, the reason why it will work for you regardless of where you are, is because I'm being very flexible with it. If you've seen my Swiss marine buttercream recipe as well, I made it very flexible, which means there is no particular amount of butter you can add to that recipe. It depends on the range, and I showed you how to see if it's okay when you should stop. The same thing I'm going to do in this recipe today. So it is already getting firm. Yes, at this point the remaining powdered sugar, you want to take some Tylose powder. This is very what's Tylose powder? It's also called CMC. Yes, so you need just like 1/4 teaspoon, and then you're going to mix it with the remaining icing sugar and then finish your kneading, and that's all you have to do. So for me, I feel like this fondant is a little too hard for me, so I'm going to show you guys how I soften it. So what I do is, first thing I do is to knead all of the icing sugar into it properly and make sure it is well kneaded. When I work with icing sugar, I like it, when I work with fondant, I like it to be a little bit soft but not too soft. Like, I don't want it to be hard like sugar paste or what's that thing called. I want it to be quite soft and malleable, so that when I smoothen, it will smoothen easily, and like when I try to stick it on something, it will stick more easily, and that way it's more malleable and you can work with it. Okay, so what I like to do is to take the fondant and then take some butter. If you don't want to use butter, you can use vegetable shortening or you can use glycerin. But the reason why I like to use butter is because butter has some water content inside of it that makes it, like, I don't know, that makes your fondant a little softer. That's why I like to use butter. You can use butter or use margarine. At this point, your fondant is ready, but it is not ready to be used. This fondant is best if you leave it to rest for a few hours. So I'm going to take it right now, and then I'm going to wrap it in some cling film. Yes, so I'm going to wrap it so it doesn't. What I like to do is first rub some butter around it, so like to be easy and stuff, so it won't stick to my cling film. So I wrap it on inside the cling film and leave it for a few hours. Usually 3 to 4 hours is okay, but usually I like to make my fondant like the night before. Yes, or sometimes when I have help, I make those people make me fondant. I don't know if you get, like, when I have students that come to learn and everything, they learn fondant by making me several batches of fondant. Yeah, I know it's cheating and stuff, but I love it. Okay, so it's best, can you see this is after like 5 hours. It's more malleable and it's easier to use and softer if you leave it for a while. If it gets too strong for you, all you have to do is, of course, when you leave it for a while, to toughen up a little bit. That's what fondant does. All you have to do is put some vegetable shortening or butter on your mat and then knead it a little bit more. It's amazing. I love this fondant because this is this is not exactly my recipe. This was a recipe I was taught some years ago, but I kind of fine-tuned it and worked with it to make it this. So basically it's my recipe. Yeah, it is. Okay, so let me show you guys how well it spreads. See how well it spreads, and it is not difficult. See how nice and easy it spreads. You just have to put some cornstarch on your mat and then spread it. I love it. I think I'm going to use it a little bit more, and when I have students now, I'm also going to teach them the marshmallow fondant as well as this one. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I'm so glad I finally got to do this. I enjoyed making this video so much. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in my future tutorials. Please give me a thumbs up on this video, and if you try it out, please let me know. Please, you guys should give me feedbacks on how you like it or how you don't like it or what you think is wrong. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh, and if you're in a humid environment, you can add some cornstarch or take away some cornstarch, you know, depending on how strong or how soft you want it to be. Okay, thank you guys, and I will see you in my future tutorials. Bye.